What a way to start the show. Good morning / good afternoon, everyone. It's Saturday, and you know what that means. Coming to you live from the home of the biggest man-made hole in Europe. I am not joking there. Aberdeen City. I hit my mic. What a start. My name is Steve Smith, and I am here to review last night's AEW Rampage for the 8th of October 2021, which was taped in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, USA. So this week's show was a good show. I enjoyed it. I mean, I always kind of enjoy Rampage. It's short, it's sweet, and I get to look at it with my analytical head, which is always fun. We had 4 matches on the show. I expected 2 of them to be relatively short, which is exactly what happened. And yeah, it's Rampage. I like reviewing Rampage because it's unlike Dynamite, which has between 11 and 14 segments on a show, and I only have half an hour to review it. This is a lot more relaxed. So I'm sitting, I've got my coffee, I've got my nice, the limited edition Voice Britannia cups. Only, I think there was 6 of them made. I digress. Anyway, that's not what I'm here. I like reviewing this. It's nice and relaxed. I can take my time going through it, and we can enjoy the moment together, So, housekeeping, first of all, I'm going to make a little banner for this. I should really make a banner for it. Thankfully, the Rampage logo's there as well, which I guess it was there during the Dynamite review, because I didn't change it today. Man. So, yeah, I don't have many viewers on this channel who are watching these reviews. Sometimes I get a good amount, sometimes it's a bit I'd like it to be better. So, if you're watching this, subscribe to the channel, chuck the notification bell on, hit like. This is my channel, Steve Smith, Broke Britannia, Vlogs and Wrestling. Yeah, I know the name's the name's quite long. But I'm looking for more subscribers. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought about this week's Rampage. I love to talk with people. I love to hear other views on Rampage, because I don't like it. I don't like living in an echo chamber. I like hearing what people didn't like about the shows just as much as I like hearing what people do like about the shows. Coming during the week, I have a video on the epically funny Slap Mountain series. So if you've not seen Slap Mountain, which I doubt you have, and basically it's like really old school IWA Mid-South crossed with Slap Fight Championship. If you don't know what Slap Fight Championship is, it is exactly what the name suggests. It's people fighting with slapping each other in the face, taking turnabout, slap, slap, slap. It's a great format. It's a bizarre form of entertainment, but I really like it. So I have a video coming out with that sometime in the next week. I will also have something pushed out on my political channel, Steve Smith Politics, later in the week. I'm out of town till Tuesday night, so it won't drop on Monday this week. It'll probably be Thursday or Friday. It'll drop this week. On Wednesday, I will be restarting my live coverage of Prime Minister's Questions. That is live from the UK House of Commons. Well, it's live from my house. I'm restreaming that. It sounds a bit dry, but really the whole thing is pantomime. And it is just as ridiculous as some of the silliest wrestling you've ever seen. It's basically 30 to 45 minutes of politicians cutting promos and sucking up to the heel boss of the promotion. That's how I see Prime Minister's Questions. It's always good to chat about. So I'll be doing that. I'll be doing commentary on that. I've done it for literal years now. I've not done it for about 4 months because I got a job and stuff like that. I had some priorities. But now I've got time to do it, so I'll be doing that. That's live on my political channel at 11:55 a.m. and the event starts at 12 p.m. on the button, usually. We've got a Prime Minister who's a bit of a egghead, so we don't know, but I'm not going to get political in this because we're here to talk about wrestling. So with all that promotion done, let's get to the Rampage review. So the show opened up this week with one of the Mark Henry promo segments, which surprised me. I did not expect to see that at the top of the show. He was speaking to Daniel Garcia, who was with 2.0, and his challenger for the evening, CM Punk. 2.0 and Garcia and Punk were excellent as always in the promo segments. Garcia says nothing, itchy. No, well, not itchy right there. What about an itch? Yeah, Garcia doesn't say nothing. 2.0 does the speaking for him, which is good. If he feels that it's better having people talking for him, then it's better. You know what I mean? Don't force people to do stuff they're not comfortable with. because it'll just look crap at the end of the day. So this was a good little segment, but enough talk, let's get to the match. The crowd were as hot as expected for this match. There was loads of cheers for Punk and massive boos for Garcia and 2.0, who I have to say 2.0 are really good in the position of a heel tag team. Well, they're like heel hype men for Garcia, but they're also a great tag team. I think they wrestle more on Dark and Elevation at the moment, so if you want to see them wrestle, watch those shows. I need to catch up with them. I'm a few weeks out with them. I usually watch them in a bulk, but I need to catch up. Regardless, 2.0 is excellent. They've been my favourite tag team since long before they were ever in WWE, which we've talked about before. I didn't even realise they were in WWE because they changed their name and they didn't tell people that Ever Rise used to be known as 2.0. So I didn't even know them, and I missed them on NXT, which is a shame. But I remember them from the Chikara days and all that, the indies back then. They're awesome. So this was a good match. I said good match in the notes. This was a really good match. A lot of technical stuff earlier on. Punk went for the teased a GTS, but it led to 2.0 jumping him on the apron. So, I mean, quick point, Jericho's back in commentary, which no doubt annoyed some people. At some points he did get a bit OTT, but he was generally alright. But yeah, but getting back to the match, Punk went for the GTS earlier on. It led to 2.0 jumping him on the apron and distracting him, leading to a large portion of heat being laid in on Punk. Garcia worked on his knee, and then the ref got distracted again, and 2.0 started working on the knee. Where's Darby and Sting when you need them? Oh yeah, Darby got the snot beat out of him by the Pinnacle. He's not showing up, so CM Punk's on his own. I mean, he's always on his own, but I thought they were teasing like a stable of Sting and Darby being with Punk, and at times in this match I expected them to come out, but it didn't happen, but I'm not sad about that. Anyway, Remsburg got the match back in the ring. That was referee Bryce Remsburg, and Garcia continued to work over Punk's leg. He locked in a great figure 4 knee bar at one point, and then he hit him with this really sick looking knee breaker kind of move where Punk was lying on the ground, he hyperextended the knee and then snapped back with it. It's like, whoa, that looks nasty. I liked it. Garcia is an excellent technical wrestler, and it was on full display here. He is also really good at heel stuff, as no matter what Punk did, he countered it and methodically went back to working the leg. The tide turned for Punk when Garcia went for a running drop kick, but Punk ducked under it, and Garcia went flying into the turnbuckle leg first, then landed on his head. This was followed by a knee strike and a bit of the old boo yeah strike off in the middle of the ring. Punk won this battle with a roundhouse kick to Daniel's head. It was a nice kick. Punk looked really good in this match. It was a really good match. I enjoyed this a lot. Punk fired up with a leg lariat and a neck breaker. Then he went for his running corner knee, but Garcia managed to counter it with a bulldog. He managed to counter the bulldog with a suplex. Punk's selling here was great. He just selling the leg non-stop. There was a brief hope spot. Punk hit Garcia with a Pepsi twist lariat for a 2 count. Then here, there was a really tiny thing I noticed, but it was so good, right? So Punk took Garcia out with the lariat, got a 2 count. And whilst they were both sitting on the ground selling that they were tired, Garcia just put his leg around Punk's head as if he was a way to try and lock him in like a head-leg triangle sort of choke, which Punk just moved it off. But that was really, really good. I mean, it showed that Garcia is always in the match. You know, it just shows that he's always thinking. He's a really good sign, because like I like wrestling when they make it look like a competition. And if you're in a real competition, you would be trying everything to make sure you're still trying to win, no matter how beat up you were. And that's what he did here. He showed that he was still alive. Punk just pushed him off because Garcia was still pretty dazed from the move, so he managed to push it off. It was a really nice touch. Really good worker. And he never looked like he was out of the game in this match. So Garcia managed to fire back and managed to get Punk in a really nice sharpshooter, like next to the ropes. Punk eventually got to the rope. Garcia tried to pull him to the centre of the ring, but Punk pushed him off. And so he pushed him off with his feet. First of all, he hit into one rope and he hit one of the members of 2.0. He went flying off the apron. Garcia then went the other way, got distracted, pushed into the other member of 2.0. So that took 2.0 out of the match. They could no longer try and get on the apron and distract him. It was really good. This was followed up by CM Punk doing a top rope dive to the outside onto all three heels, which was, again, really nice. The finish to the match came when Punk managed to hit the springboard lariat on Garcia. He followed this up with a pile driver, and then he locked in the Anaconda Vice, a move I've not seen in like 8 years, for the win. This was a really good match, like really, really good match. Punk looked great in it. Garcia looked impressive as hell. I've had a lot of people saying that Garcia's awesome. He's awesome. He's awesome. He's awesome. But I've only ever seen him in little matches. This match properly showed off how good Daniel Garcia is, and it really showed that if there was any ring rust that Punk had, it's pretty much gone, because this was a fantastic match. Really good, really good, perfect match to open a show. Next up, we went to a quick backstage promo. So Lio Rush was with Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. Sydal tried to call Lio Rush out as a bit of a scammer. You know, he was like, you're just lending people money, you're a bit of a the gist of it is he was calling him a bit of a scammer, a bit of a grifter. But it seems Dante is all about teaming with Lio Rush. Now, then Lio Rush said that he wanted to prove himself to Sydal. He's going to get him a match with CM Punk next week. And Sydal's like, well, if you can get that, then I'm sold. As simple as that. And like that, as soon as the segment ended, the match was announced. Next week on Rampage, we are getting CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. That will be awesome. That will be an awesome match straight off the bat. I am all about that sort of match. Matt Sydal's brilliant. Working with CM Punk's going to just be awesome. Hyped for that already. Hype. Next up, we got the Acclaimed versus the Lucha Brothers. Now, this is one of the first matches I thought would be quite quick. This was for the AEW Tag Team titles, of course. We got a brief rap from Platinum Max Caster before the Lucha Bros came out to a huge pop. I love this team. Lucha Brothers are so awesome. Cero Miedo. No, I mean, I'm all about that. I'm all about the Lucha Brothers. The Acclaim jumped Penta and Phoenix before the bell, and this led to Phoenix and Caster starting the match in the ring. The Acclaim's advantage lasted all of 5 seconds. Caster had a double super kick. Phoenix countered something. Penta came in, the double super kicked him, and then some sort of move from Phoenix, like one of his running corner kick things. It's so cool. They're very fast, you know. At one point, Phoenix tried to do a dive onto Bowens on the outside, but was hit with the boom box. It only took him out for a few seconds, but regardless, he was still hit with the boom box. This led to Penta and Caster going at it, with Max getting heat on the fearless luchador. I wrote that line. Cheesy. This was a fast-paced match. Within a minute, there was a "This is awesome" chant. It was a really fast-paced match, but it was fast, but it wasn't messy, you know. There were a few miscues in the match. Now, the miscues were all related to the Acclaimed shooting Penta into corners. They were just shooting him into the wrong corner, or he was facing the wrong way and they had to turn him out. But Penta never let it get in control. If it was the wrong way, they just stopped, they just turned and just did it. So they never made a big deal of it. It never made anyone look bad. And you don't really have noticed this if you were really watching, like I was watching. The Acclaim double teamed him, but Penta managed to get the better of them and managed to tag Phoenix in, who started doing his usual amazing work. But very quickly, he had a super kick. And then, from the super kick, he took the most insane back bump I have ever seen. He took a back bump, but he took a flip back bump. But the flip landed him just right on the back of his head. It's do you need to take a super kick like that, mate? What? It looked fantastic, but it also looked like it would give you a concussion, you know? After a few more super kicks, all 4 men were down. We had a quadruple down, not a double down, quadruple down. This led to Bowens trying to put Phoenix away, but Penta managed to push Caster off the top rope. He was going for a top rope dive onto Phoenix. Penta managed to push him off. They then hit Bowen with it earlier. There were a few really tiny miscues in the match, but it never took anything from the match. It was a really fun match. Next, we got a very quick video showing Hangman winning his title shot in Wednesday's Casino ladder match. If you've not seen that, go and watch it. The ladder match was insane. If Pac doesn't have a concussion, I'm a monkey's uncle. God damn it, Pac. He took some insane bumps there. My cousin's called Andre. Andrade and Pac took the sickest bumps in this match, undoubtedly. Watch the review I did of it. because I talk all about it there, or just go and watch the match because it was awesome. We then got a quick video showing the TBS title announcement. That's the women's version of the TNT title, which they're debuting soon. They're going to have a championship tournament for it. We then had a match between Jade Cargill and Sky Blue. So Jade Cargill got her entrance. Sky Blue was currently in the ring. While the entrance was happening, we got an inset promo with Jade saying that Sky Blue is not TBS title material. And, from this match, she was probably right. I'm not saying that we're going to get to that. You'll feel that. This was a quick match. My gut was telling me that this match would not be longer than a minute. And I was bang on right. The match started with Sky taking a run at Jade, but she instantly just got caught and Jade gave her a huge follow-away slam. Jade went selling, she sold into the corner. She tried to do something out of the corner, but Jade countered with a huge pump kick to the chest. Looks savage. Before being hit with a jaded finish for the win. I don't know is it called jaded? I think it's jaded. That's what the commentator said it. She got jaded. It's probably called something else, and I'm just being too literal here. Regardless, she got hit. It's the old implant buster sort of move. I don't know what it's called. I'm pretty sure implant buster is a politically incorrect way to describe this move. That's the old name that Awesome Kong used to have when she used it. She's the first woman, she's the first person I ever seen using that move back in the old TNA days, and before that, it's like the double underhook, hold them up, double underhook, then slam them face forward. Jade got the win. Easy win. It was. I didn't time it, but it didn't feel like it was any more than a minute. If it was more than a minute, I'm a monkey's uncle. My only complaint with the match was that Jade let Blue get a few kicks in her, and they didn't have any real effect. Jade just sold it. She's still in her selling. You can see Jade's greenness because she does the she still oversells a little bit. So I don't think Jade needed to give her anything in the match. I know people aren't big on squashes. I'm not massive on squashes, but Jade's like a foot taller than her. She's a physical specimen of a woman. Sky Blue is great, but she's not Jade, And I don't think that Jade needed to give her those kicks at all. I understand why she does it. She does it so that Jade doesn't look like she's nothing, and so she still looks like she's got some fire, but I don't think it was needed. I think Jade could have just caught her on the first run, give her the slam, pump kick, jaded, win, done. I don't think she needed to give her any offense in it. Post-match, Jade beat on Sky Blue, but Thunder Rosa made the save with a chair, sending her and Smart Mark Sterling running to the back. They're teasing a Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill match. That could be good. If there's someone that's going to get a really good match out of Jade, it could be Thunder Rosa. The match that they had last week, the three-way, that was really good. So I'm interested to see that. And that's obviously a big tease for the TBS title tournament that's coming up. And like I said, from this, Sky Blue, Jade's probably right in her promo that Sky Blue's not TBS title material yet because she got beat in like a minute. If you're getting beat in a minute, then you're probably not a contender for the title. You know what I mean? Although, that said, Jade Cargill is one of those Brock Lesnar sort of characters who runs people down. She's a lot bigger, she's a lot fitter, she's a lot more athletic, and you would expect her to beat people fast. So you never know. Sky Blue could do all right in the tournament. There's nothing to say she couldn't go up to the quarterfinals or something like that. I don't know how they work in the tournament, but that could be an option. And like that, we were already at the main event for this show. It just went so fast. So even with me pausing it to take notes, it went super fast. And this was a Philadelphia street fight between Ricky Starks and Brian Cage for the FDW title. And it's fitting that it's an FDW title match because it's a title which is steeped in Philadelphia wrestling history due to its links with Taz, the original ECW. Of course, the FTW title was Taz's title that he invented. It was only ever on ECW. I don't know how many people actually held it. If it was Taz, I think Sabu may have held it once. I am unsure. Regardless, it was born in Philadelphia, it was raised in Philadelphia, and it's a title it feels right that the FTW title is being defended in a street fight in Philadelphia. It just works. It's a great callback to the history of the belt. Before the match, we got our customary Mark Henry promo segment between the two men. They both cut their promos. It was good. Then Henry did the classic line, "That's enough chat, let's get to the ring," which I'm just paraphrasing, of course. Cage came out first, looking like an absolute monster as usual. I've not seen him wrestle in ages, so it's good to see Brian Cage wrestling. Whilst he was making his way to the ring, Taz was berating him on commentary, called him a heathen, which I thought was hilarious. Also, during the match, Taz pointed out how, Cage was the FTW champion, but he gave the belt. He didn't earn the belt. So, I don't think this is a feud that's ending here, by the way. I just don't think that at all. Starks came out. As he was making his way to the ring, he tried to grab a chair and take it into the ring, but as soon as he got in the ring, Cage just stepped on it and stopped him getting it. And then he threw Starks around like he was nothing. He then picked up the chair, and this led to Starks eating some big chair shots to the back, which I was expecting. So the match then went outside. Cage proceeded to beat up on Starks. He was throwing him into barricades. At one point, he threw him over a barricade, like half into the crowd, into the first row, which was funny. Cage then went, he got some more weapons, brought them into the ring. These included a pool cue, like a metal pipe, a chain, and a dustbin, or a trash can, and a trash can lid. Because it's an American show, we've got to use the American vernaculars. During the break, obviously I watched them fight, so there's no commercial breaks during the matches. Starks kept working on Cage, this time with a trash can lid. He obviously got the upper hand back on him. I can't remember how, but he started hitting him in the head with a trash can lid. Bang, 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 bang. That was good. He then got the steel pipe and he managed to hit, he got Cage down and he had his arm hanging over the bottom ropes. Starks went out the ring, hit him with the steel pipe. They then went back into the ring and he started using it. He's trying to choke Cage out with it. As you would expect, it's a street fight. Coming back from the break, Starks had wedged a chair in the corner between the ropes, and he tried to throw Cage into the chair, but Cage avoided it. He then gave Starks a huge fall-away slam, except he didn't fall away, which I really liked. Cage is a monster, he's a machine. So he just picks him up for the fall-away slam. Well, he actually didn't, because he picked him up, it was the fall-away slams normally they put in the back, or they hold him in the front. Cage just goes like that, throws him over the top of the head, and he takes a bump. He's so strong. His arms are as thick as my body, I think. There was a funny video of him years ago, and it was show people mocking him for his arms being so big, one of those meet and greet sort of things, and someone had stuck a post-it note right in the center of his back, and his arms are so big that he can't reach so back. It's Jesus, what the hell? It was funny, but Cage is a big lad, and he's ripped to shreds, so. I digress. I'm just getting carried away with his massive muscles, So Starks set Cage in the corner, and he was sat in the corner. Cage was a bit dazed, and he put the trash can in front of him. Now it looked like he was going for a running baseball slide into the trash can into Cage, or something. I don't really know what he was going for here. It wasn't really clear what they were going for, but Cage countered. He managed to stand up and give him a super kick before picking him up and slamming him into the trash can for a 2.5 count. Taz on commentary then started freaking out. He's like, "Send Hobbs, send Hook, send Hobbs, send Hook," and Hook and Hobbs made their way to the ring to help Starks, who is now in trouble. So Hook first entered the ring with the FTW belt, but he was taken out before he could do anything with it. Then Hobbs tried to do his little bit, and he was taken out. Starks tried to capitalise on this distraction by slamming Cage into the metal pipe, but he only managed to get a two count. At this point, Team Taz were in trouble. I thought Cage might actually get the win here. I thought this might have actually been the end. This might have been Cage winning the belt back and the whole story coming to a neat little ending that would have been cool. Starks went for a spear on Cage, but Cage avoided, sent him into the chair, which was still set up in the corner. When he got up, Cage then hit him with a huge discus lariat, but Hobbs interfered and broke the pin up. Cage then, he went, like, we're getting to the end of the match now, so Hobbs was on the outside of the ring. Cage climbed up onto the second rope, and he hooked Hobbs for the suplex. He was a way to, like, do the outside in suplex. But before he could, hook run up, bah! He punched Cage in the nuts, which led to a now bleeding. I guess Starks got bust open when he hit the chair. Bust open by the chair. And so he comes up, he's got a crimson mask, blood all over him. And he managed to, because Cage was already kind of on the second rope, they managed to help him get Cage onto his shoulder. He hit the Rochambeau and he got the win, retaining the FTW title with the help of Team Taz. This was a fun match. This was a really fun match. Again, it was a great way to end the show. I like that the last 2 episodes of Rampage have ended with street fights. I am all about that. I am all about that. There's nothing wrong with a bit of hardcore wrestling. I mean, they didn't go over the top. There was actually not that much weaponry and stuff like that used. With it being a Philly street fight, I expected a bit more weapons, a bit more blood, but there actually was quite little on that. They worked the weapons really well into the wrestling match, and it was never too much hardcore stuff. It was a perfect balance between wrestling and street fight with the rules and stuff like that all tied in. Starks retained, but obviously he couldn't retain on his own. He had to be helped by Team Taz. So the only way I can see this feud going is to a cage match. No pun intended. Brian Cage in a cage match. I mean, every time Cage fights Starks now, Starks wins because of the outside interference. This seems to be leading us perfectly into a main event. I imagine this might happen at Full Gear, because the way it's building, it would be perfectly timed for Full Gear. If we could see Cage and Starks in a cage match, so Team Taz can't interfere, and then Cage can get the win over Starks, retain, win back the FTW title, stand tall over Team Taz, and everyone goes home happy. I think it would be a nice way to end the feud between the two, because this feud's been going on quite a long time now. At times it's felt quite open up, like you've seen a bit of the feud and they've done nothing for a few weeks. So I think if they start building it back up again, they can build a lot of heat back into the feud, and it can lead perfectly into Full Gear in November. We can get the cage match, the blow-off match of the feud, and the good guy winning, standing tall. I think it would be good. I think it would work perfectly. And with that, that's a wrap. That I need to get a thesaurus. Rampage was fun as always. Next week, there is no Dynamite on Wednesday. Instead, we get Rampage on Friday, and we have a special Dynamite show on Saturday. Now, this is due to a sports preemption on Wednesday. This is the exact reason why Dynamite is moving to TBS in January 2022. So they no longer get preempted because of sports. Although, you have to remember that if they're not preempted because of sports, that means they'll be going up against sports. So those weeks will still probably hit them in the total viewers and the 1845 and all the ratings sort of things, much like it did in the last week. I mean, quickly digressing, talking ratings, I don't have the numbers to hand. I wasn't going to talk about it. AEW, they did just over 1 million in the ratings. They were up against a huge baseball game. Now, there's people who've been saying, they got blah, 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 like saying that they got a bad rating. The fact of the matter is that last year when AEW was up against sports, they were only getting like 800,000 viewers. Now we're at a point now where even if a big sports event is on, which has a massive amount of people watching it, AEW are still able to retain 1 million plus viewers. That is a great a great example of how they're managing to build on their audience year on year. They're not building it in massive amounts, but it is absolutely building, and their shows are not doing less than 1 million viewers now, which is always very promising. So yeah, no complaints from me this week on Rampage, other than a few minor points in the 2 middle matches, which again, they didn't take anything from the matches. It's just my personal view on wrestling and what should maybe happen. The main event was a lot better than I expected. I thought it would just be a hardcore match, but no, it was actually a really good match. Punk versus Garcia though, awesome match. Punk looked awesome, Garcia looked awesome. If you like these reviews, please subscribe for more. I do these every Thursday and Saturday. I don't have any people watching the views all the time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I want this to change. The only way this can change is by you, the viewer, helping me out. So hit subscribe if you've watched this. Leave a comment. Tell me what you liked about the show. Tell me what you didn't like about the show. And we can talk about it in the comments. I'll be replying. to the comments like we do. Coming during the week, I have a video on the hilariously funny Slap Mountain series, which is basically mud show wrestling crossed with slap fighting. I can't even tell if this is real or if it's kayfabe. You know, it's a really weird and funny series. So I'll be talking about that through the week. I'll drop a video on that. On Wednesday, on my Steve Smith Politics channel, I'll be restarting my live coverage of Prime Minister's questions. As I said, it sounds a bit dry, but it's actually kind of entertaining, especially when you've got me commentating over it. The only difference from when I used to do it is I'm swearing a lot less now. I'm trying to cut down on the swearing because I want the algorithms to help me out. So yeah, check out the link for that. I'll be in the comments down below. And I will see you all next week. Take it easy.